Hi guys, my name is TJ and welcome back to TJ Smiles. Today I have a book review for you on The Sister Pact by Ramey. This is a book I got for free that I picked up while at BookCon! First off, I want to let you know that this book does have some trigger warnings in it. It deals with topics like suicide and depression, as well as substance abuse, anywhere from marijuana to like over-the-counter medication to prescription medicine. So I just want to go ahead and put that disclaimer out there before I go on and talk about this video or before you go out and pick up the book for yourself. The main character in this book is Allie, and it follows her story and her struggles of trying to deal and cope with life after her sister commits suicide. The girls had always been as close as any sister would be, but Allie, being the little sister, just absolutely adored her older sister 100%. She thought she was perfect in every way possible, but Allie didn't realize that her sister was holding a lot of things back from her. Like the fact that she had tried to commit suicide in the past, but asked her parents not to tell her. The fact that she was always depressed, and anytime she was on break from something like school or dance or anything like that, anytime she had like free time, alone time, she was not happy. Her older sister did not want to take the medication that was prescribed to her by the doctors. She said it made her fat or not feel good. Things like that, just a typical thing that you say when you don't want to take medication. So her way to cope with the depression was to keep busy. So like I mentioned before, anytime her life would have a downtime, she was down herself. That was her downfall in life. On top of the mental illnesses that both girls deal with, they had a bad home life as well. Their parents didn't get along great. Their dad had an affair with a woman that was only a few years older than the girls. She was very young, so that caused a divorce. On top of that, their mom is very much addicted to over-the-counter and prescription medication. She is always shaking and getting a high off of medications to kind of like cope with the stresses in her life. This book is set in the present time after her sister did commit suicide, but as she's trying to put together the pieces on why her sister does it, we go back in time a lot in her memories. So Allie has this one memory she explains, and it's the memory of the night they made the pact. The girls made a pact that if they decide that they need to kill themselves, they can't do it anymore, they do it together. No one is left behind. Now, this is why Allie is one of the main reasons why Allie is so distraught when her sister ends up committing suicide, because she just went ahead and did it, and she did not continue on with the pact. So, because Allie was left behind, she felt very betrayed by her older sister, and she just didn't understand why her sister killed herself. What was the push? What was that final straw that made her do it? Why didn't she do it with her? Allie also felt that the reason her sister committed suicide was because of her. She felt very guilty about it, even though she had no control over the situation. But she still blames herself for it almost every day. On top of that, their father is not a very nice guy. On my list of people I like 1 to 10, he's probably like a 3.5. I don't like him too much. He thinks he knows what's best and he tries his hardest, but he's just overall just a very demeaning man, I would say. On top of all that, Allie has issues at school as well, and as well as her art. She's an artist, and since her sister died, she can't paint anymore. She's just kind of lost her knack, and she's trying to go back to it. So with all of that, Allie's trying to put her life together, as well as she's trying to piece together why her sister committed suicide. So this is a lot of stress, and this is all happening during the school year, and we all know the school year is stressful to begin with. So, with that being said, the way Allie decides to cope is by not taking her antidepressant and working with the counselors, but by taking over-the-counter and eventually prescription and marijuana drugs. So, not the best choices she can make. So, things get bad. Allie's life at this point is going downhill and things happen, and she finds herself in the hospital for a few days. And when she gets out of the hospital, she's just kind of done. She confronts her mom and she's like, we need to stand up to Dad. He doesn't belong here. He can't have this much ruling over our life when he don't even live with us. He left us to live with his girlfriend. He betrayed us. We don't need his attitude influencing us at this point anymore. So at this point in the novel, there's huge character development between her and her mom. I would personally argue that her mom had more character development than her. I feel like Allie did have character development, don't get me wrong, but maybe it was because I didn't like her as a character. It honestly frustrated me so much to read her story and read how she was doing these drugs, and the whole time I just wanted to yell at her, stop it, but I couldn't do that. So her character just annoyed the crap out of me, to be honest. But her mom's character never really bugged me too much, so maybe that's why I enjoyed watching her mom's character development more, and maybe that's why I personally feel her mom had more character development, because I just personally liked that character a little better. If you read the book, or you plan on reading the book, let me know after you read it if you feel like, who you feel had more character development. Can I speak? More character development, Allie or her mom. So, overall, I'd give this book like a 3 out of 5 stars. It was a good book. It was a good book. I mean, my issue with the book was, like I mentioned before, it's a huge trigger warning. And at times I was reading this book and I'm like, do I really want to be reading this? Do I really need to be reading this? Like, watching someone be that depressed, watching someone contemplate suicide over and over again is like, wow. Like, I've never read a book where the main character is contemplating suicide almost the whole book. And it was just very hard to read, but I am glad I ended up finishing it. So, like I said before, I would give this a 3 out of 5 stars. I would also suggest you reading it if you really want to kind of get inside the mind of someone who is contemplating suicide. I felt like it was done in a very well manner. Not the best done book. It was not by far the best, like, well done, respectfully done book, but it was done respectfully, and it is a way you can kind of understand where they're coming from if you have a friend or family member who is contemplating suicide. So if you're interested in that, I would recommend it if you kind of want that viewpoint of the world and kind of get inside someone else's head for a little bit. But I would definitely not recommend it to you if you are someone who has super bad depression or you're contemplating suicide. Please don't read it. Also, if you're someone who is like using, I don't know if like you can read something or be around someone else who is like abusing substances and then be like, oh my gosh, I need to go get some Adderall. I don't know if that's how it works, I'm not sure, but if that's the case for you and you're very easily persuaded into drugs, please don't read this book because there is a lot of substance abuse in this book. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this book. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye!